Yep.
But yeah, last weekend was pretty bad. So hit or miss. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
think
like
I didn't hit a single thing this
yeah,
week.
it's like Saturdays are pretty good at Santa Anita and Gulfstream, but other than that, it's tough to get excited about anything right now. Just the cards are so bad.
Yeah, I feel you. And then like the Dubai stuff's coming up. I don't really get excited for that, but already like big names are dropping out. I mean, Sierra Leone dropped out, which is a disappointment for me. I don't know how much career that horse has left in him just based on his track record, but that would have been cool to see him in a big field like that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure why he dropped out either, but yeah, I like
Some
watching
kind of
those
injury.
races, but I don't bet on
I don't
them
like
or
to bet him
anything.
as
Yeah,
much, yeah. Yeah,
just
they're
I don't.
kind of
Yeah,
random. I don't know how those tracks. They don't really have a bias or anything. They're just kind of. It almost reminds me of like all weather for some reason.
yeah. There's just so many other international horses and stuff that I don't know anything about. So even like I look like tomorrow. Gulfstream's card's pretty good tomorrow with like the turf pick 3, but Santa Anita has like one turf race tomorrow. Like just don't understand how it's possible when you're only running Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Where are all the
Yeah, I
horses
don't
at?
know. And they close
They gotta
Golden
be
Gate.
running
Like
somewhere.
it's crazy. I even like cause they like Santa Anita's had some really low level like dirt claiming races, but they're like 14 horse fields. They like so I actually like that. Uh, just give the big fields, but yeah, I don't get how they don't have like they usually have a turf pick 3 every card too, and they just don't even have one Friday because they have one race. But Saturdays, yeah, Saturdays is pretty good.
Yep. We can hop into it if you want. Late pick for Santa Anita Saturday. What did you think of this? These last 4 races overall.
Not the best sequence in terms of like prices, but pretty good. I think. I like the late double better than the first two, but um, still pretty good. What about you?
Yeah, I like a couple of these turf races. That's kind of why what drew my attention to this. And then yeah, the dirt race. It's kind of like a 1-2 horse race probably. But yeah, the turf sprint you can get a little fun with that, and then yeah, that last race too. We'll go into that last $5 double a little bit because that's a fun market to kind of target.
Yeah, yeah, the late pick 3 too. With the $3 minimums, good bet. With lower takeout too.
Yeah, we'll talk about how we maybe would structure that a little bit because I had some different ideas, I guess, based on the races and how I handicapped it at least. Okay. Started with race 7, mile and a quarter, starting on the hillside turf. Do they do that often for like a mile and a quarter? They started halfway up the hillside.
Yeah, they typically that's just the way the track is that they just keep going back to get the added
Yeah.
distance. But
Okay. Yeah. I thought this was could be an interesting race. There's like a couple horses that I like. Overall, I think the favorite. I didn't do these with money, the morning line, but I'm guessing the favorite is Truly Quality, the 6.
yeah, 8 to 5 morning line.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty heavy. It makes sense. He is kind of like the class horse, I guess, based on recent runs. I thought there was a couple that were interesting underneath. I'll just mention one and then see who you got. I like the 2. There goes Harvard getting Frankie Dettori now, coming off a grade 1 in the Breeders' Cup. That was a mile and a half, a little cut back here. Not a whole lot of pace in this race. Um, and he looked pretty good. Made like a move late in that Breeders' Cup race. But I think the mile and a half was just a little bit too much, and there was a lot of classy horses coming down on him really hard late. So I like the cutback here. I like getting Frankie Dettori. I like that there's not a whole lot of competing pace in this race. The other couple forward running horses, they get toward the front, but they're slower fractions. And especially when they stretch out, you can see they put out really slow fractions if they're able to. And I don't think there's going to be that much of a duel for um, early pace. So I like There Goes Harvard, inside post, early speed, not a lot of pace. I like that as a chance to take down the truly quality, the favorite. Did you get any other horses in here?
Yeah, I, I think Truly Quality is the one to beat. I think I I don't know what the price is going to be, but the second choice, it's 3-1 morning line is the Divin Propos. Um, I think that I'll probably try and beat Truly Quality and just play this horse. I thought he was in that race last time at Del Mar, the Truly Quality won, and then Truly Quality had a much better trip. It's kind of too wide covered. It was game. It was a good race for sure, but the 7 was kind of stuck on the rail in that race. Didn't he was sitting a good trip, but kind of boxed in most of the stretch, and finally found a seam late. Finished strong up the rail. So I just think that they're probably matched. I think, and he's going to be a much better price. So yeah. Then as far as underneath horses, some prices. Um, Easter, I've had some trip notes on the last few. I think his form is a little bit better this year than it looks. And another price, the 3 Lord Bullington, 20-1, stretching out. Had a bad trip last time, and still actually ran pretty well. And first time gelding for McCarthy, who's really hot trainer. So I think that's kind of a bomb that might be able to run underneath and hit the board. But I like There Goes Harvard too. Just that pace um, scenario that you're talking about. There isn't any speed in here, so I think the best shot would be for Dettori to go to the lead or be aggressive, which he usually is. Um, he he he's kind of like he'll put some crazy rides on horses though too. So at this point, so
Yeah, he
he's
kind of like overthinks it
yeah, he's
sometimes.
tough to trust. I don't like trust him, but on a decent price horse, he still gives some great rides. But yeah, there is really no speed in this race, so any horse that can maybe go to the front and set slow fractions might have a chance to steal it.
Yeah, I liked Easter as well. I think there needs to be a little pace for him to do anything more than like show,
Yeah, I
just
agree.
based on how he's run. He gets going really late typically. Um, but I did like him. Maybe not in this spot. I thought the 5 a Teflon a little bit interesting. If just kind of the same angle as like There Goes Harvard. It depends on who gets to the front and runs those slow fractions. He looked all right. Those couple of mile and the eighth races, when he wasn't pressed too much early. So kind of an underneath horse though. It does get Hector Barrios again. Um, but yeah, I like those couple main horses we mentioned. Truly Quality. I like your 7, and then There Goes Harvard. But I think as like the pick 4 goes, I might single Truly Quality, and then maybe play another ticket working in a couple of these other horses. How would you start this out? I guess is the pick 4 perspective.
I would probably, I'd probably just single, um, just because I like the 7. I'd single that horse because it'll be the
Yeah.
second choice. So um, that's how I would do it.
Okay. We'll see how it goes. 8, race 8, 6 furlongs, optional claimer 50,000, no winners 1. This was the race. I thought it was a 2-horse race. Really, who did you end up with here?
Yeah, I think Seismic Beauty is gonna win. Unfortunately, I liked the one first time or switching to dirt last time. Ran big. Mullins runners are running like Baffert horses, and this one's shortening. I like that 6.5 to 6 furlongs move on the dirt, especially with the horse with speed, but gets the rail if she doesn't break great. I think this race is kind of over, and just that 7 post is just a great spot. Um, she can either go to the front or just kind of press the inside speed and just draw off and win. So I'd be surprised if the 7 doesn't win. I mean, like Baffert won, but Baffert won 2 races on Sunday with horses that are way over bet favorites. So he's doing his typical stuff. But yeah, so is there anybody you liked other than the 7?
I did like the 1. I think equally as the 7. I think the problems you mentioned, it could get it's a little slow out of the gate and could just get in a bad spot with a couple horses in front of her, including the 7. I like the cutback though, half a furlong when she looked prime in that last race and was kind of pushing through horses dueling a bit and just lost at the end, maybe tired a little bit, going 6.5. She's typically a 5 or 6 furlong sprinter on turf, so. But I don't know, really good workout. Gets Hector Barrios. Yeah, it's probably the 1 or the 7 for me, so I don't really see much in these other horses to warrant a really interesting bet or any exotics or anything.
Yeah, I mean the 6 is kind of a wild card. I mean she's definitely
Yeah, has run at a lot of good company, just not done much.
yeah. I mean no, she won a grade 3 at Aqueduct, but I was going a mile and 1/8. I just think off the layoff for I just don't think she has the speed to win a sprint race like this. Um, if this was a route, I think that's just the one horse that does have the upside numbers where if she fires her best race, she could actually win. But I just don't see it here. It's yeah,
Yeah, I would love to see a upset, but in these like small dirt sprints, Bob Baffert, or Jeff Mullins they're just absolutely killing it. So maybe on my pick 4, I could get to like a number 6. I was looking at that horse. I thought it was interesting that she gets Mike Smith now, who he's not been killing it, but he kind of is in that wild card category as a jockey where he just shows up sometimes and he's pretty good with the mid pack running horses. But
well he gets live
yeah,
mounts for
not
sure. You have to keep an eye on when he shows up. Like a horse like this definitely catches my eye. When he shows up for a low percentage barn horse off a layoff, that usually means
yeah.
the horse is live. He usually doesn't give a great ride, but if the horse can still be good enough. But better on dirt than turf.
Yeah, that is one.
Turf is terrible, but he still sometimes wins on that just because he's on the best horse.
Yeah, that is one thing I've noticed a little bit at Santa Anita, and it's maybe more of a turf thing. But sometimes these horses cutting back a little bit. This is actually a pretty big cutback, really. 1.8 was this horse's last dirt race. But sometimes the horse is cutting back a little bit, like 1.16 or a mile down to like 6 furlongs. It seems to give them a better shot, regardless of the trip. There's just something about the pace at Santa Anita a lot of times that it lets slower horses kind of get back into it later in the race. I think they just go so hard early in the race. But yeah, that's a good angle you can use, I guess. A couple of those things we mentioned, Mike Smith and all that. That's probably the third option that I would look at. Then we'll go on to the race 9, 6.5 furlongs on the hillside turf, optional claimer 50,000. I'll start off with my top pick, and maybe we'll go back and forth a little bit, depending on who you got. I think mine is going to be the number 1, Soho. Gets Umberto Rispoli again, has put out some just crazy bullet workouts. Looked super game in that last, that was the 6 furlongs on the main track. Made a good wide move into the stretch and passed the what's her name? Miss Mandalay, who's also in this race, probably the early speed. Second time back at this class, going on the hillside turf, extra half a furlong. I think it's kind of the recipe this horse is looking for right now for a win. So that's my top pick. Who did you get? And maybe I'll drop another one.
This race was tough for me. Have a lot of horses with like trip notes on it. So I definitely think the 1 is logical, but especially in the sequence where I think the first 2 races are going to be pretty chalky. I don't think I really want to use this one. The prices that I like, the 2 Accelerina 10-1. Off a layoff last time, going a mile. Took money, set a ridiculous pace, going a mile, and folded. But now second off the layoff, the horses. It's usually a great angle on the downhill turf is the mile runners with speed that this one has. So cutting back down the hill, I think she's going to like it. And if she just slows down a little bit on the front end and gets a decent ride by Maldonado, I think she's kind of dangerous. And then the 6 Tierra Queen, similar, got a bad trip last time. Off a little bit of a break with Rosario. Didn't really settle under Rosario, which a lot of horses don't. Now gets Frankie Dettori. It's 15-1. And yeah, I think that one has a big chance to improve. Definitely the 1 has a chance. Definitely, I just think it's going to be over bet. And then the 3 Speed Lane, another horse, ran well with some traffic trouble last time. Now second off the layoff. I think she's going to run a big race too. So the 3 prices I like are the 2, 3, and 6.
Okay, yeah, I had the 2 underneath a little bit. Drops in class, cuts back. Yeah, that's kind of the angle I was talking about. And like you said, cutting back a little bit with some speed. Probably wins this race just based on previous fractions if she's able to run that same thing on the downhill turf here. So probably my second favorite in this race as well. Also comes back into the Philip D'Amato barn. Was with William Morey and kind of ran some lower class races and then comes back up in class a little bit again with Philip D'Amato these last few. So they seem to think this horse is capable of it, and the workouts in the recent fractions in that last race seem to indicate as well. So I like that horse as well. Just trying to think as well with the 6. I like the little bit underneath, just based on the run last out in December at Santa Anita. Had a pretty good move, but just came up short. I didn't have as much notes on that one, but I did like the 2. And then yeah, I'm just checking the morning lines now. I'm a little disappointed on some of these, but I didn't realize Soho was going to be like 9-2 or what is it?
5-2. That's the favorite morning line favorite at least.
5-2. Jesus, yeah. It's a little disappointing. So maybe pushes me a little bit heavier toward Accelerina.
Yeah, I mean, Soho did run probably the fastest last race and was working bullets entering today, or entering Saturday, 3 bullets. Spoli, so I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but if the first 2 races kind of chalk out like I think, then sequence will be pretty chalky if she wins too.
Yeah, at least with the $3 triple, since we're both pretty heavy on the 7 in that last race, and then a little bit, even if you want to include the 1, you can at least get to like a couple prices in this race and the next one. So maybe it gets a little interesting if Accelerini or the 6 or your 3 come in and wins this one. I think you can at least get to it just playing the pick 3, which is nice. We'll go to the capper here. Mile on the turf, claiming 25,000. No winners at 2. Life. Okay. Do you mind opening up here?
Yeah. Yeah. This is another good betting race. Good turf betting race. Definitely bunch with chances. I like 2 horses. The first is the number 2 Night Out, 5-1 morning line. Off the break last time. Yeah, it even says in the running lines trouble trip, but was bet to favoritism. Had a ridiculously bad trip, and yeah, I just think next time out at this level seems to be working well. I just think that one's gonna run a big race with a nice inside post. Then the 9, one-time mark, 9-2 morning line, a Glatt horse. Glatt's been runners have been kind of running off the screen. This one's got speed. Was let me see here. Yeah, it was kind of had that terrible wide trip pressing that never works on the turf. Gets a different rider today, and the speed in this race is kind of to the outside of this horse, so has a speed where I think he'll be able to clear over and work out a decent trip. Big class drop. And yeah, so the 2 and the 9 are the 2 horses I like in this race.
Okay. Yeah, I had the 9 on top, one-time mark. Yeah, he was super wide that last race and just stayed wide. Came into the stretch wide and still finished out pretty nicely. Reruns the mile here. Kind of funky history. Tried a lot of maidens. Came in second a lot. I don't know what. Dropped in class in the maiden claiming to finally seal the deal, and then came out to optional claimers of 50 immediately at a mile and 16th at Del Mar and then a mile at Santa Anita. So I don't know, maybe just finally made some improvements as a horse. Looked good the last couple of races. The figures aren't that different than previously, but sometimes a horse just figures out when they need to run. The jockey change, I guess, was a little worrying for me, considering it's been with Kyle Frey most of his career at this point.
Oh, Frey's not good on turf, so you
so
don't
that was, I
have
guess,
to worry about that really.
Okay.
And Pereira's not great
Yeah.
either, but I wouldn't. Both of them aren't great on turf, but I think, yeah, if there was more speed to the inside, it would worry me that he would just get the same trip as last time. But there really isn't. Really, the only speed is the 11 to the outside. So this horse should be no worse than 2 wide.
Yeah, I agree. There shouldn't be much pace, and yeah, the 11 buckled pretty uneventfully last race in a way that I didn't trust what I saw to come back in this race. So, I definitely have one-time mark on top, and I'm not even really too sure who to get underneath. I had the 10 Ready to Rumble finish as well. strong late figures. Second off the maiden is similar to one time Mark, even less experience. Cutting back though as a finishing horse, wasn't sure um, to have him on top. But also the price isn't that great. I thought these would be like the mid price horses in this race, honestly, and pretty steep. 3-1 on and Ready to Rumble as a finishing horse cutting back was kind of interesting. But I thought Talus, I guess, would be a kind of a notable mention. They also don't really seem to know what to do with this horse. Different distances, different surfaces. Has put out some decent early pace figures and tries to get out early. So another, I guess, possibility to get on the front and just kind of milk it. But the workouts have been great. Well, the last one before the last race, but yeah, I thought that's actually probably my most confident play of this sequence is One Time Mark. I'll probably play the pick 4 singling him maybe, the pick 3 maybe getting to Ready to Rumble. I thought Cupid's Crusader maybe another honorable mention just based on the nice finish out last race in the mile and 8. Any structuring ideas for the pick 3 or the pick 4 now that we've covered all the races?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty easy for me or straightforward. I would do 7, 7, 7, the 3 prices, 2, 3, 6, and then my 2 horses, 2 and 9. So that'd be only 6 combos, and I just play that for a higher denomination, and then I might play a smaller one, 7, 1. Or if the 1 can beat that Baffert horse, I do think that one does have a chance at 5-1, and just kind of play against the favorites in the last 2 races. Same thing.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably do something similar with the 1. I'll play something as well. I might just single in the late $5 double. I'll probably play it the other way around, single One Time Mark, and then maybe play the 2 underneath horses that I had for the race 9, Accelerina, and either the 5 or the 6 in that race, Lamborghini or Tierra Queen. Just play it that way, and then play the longer exotics, including the favorites. Yeah, hopefully we hit on a couple of these. Interesting little card. Some challenging past performances with a couple of these horses to really pin down how they're going to perform. Anything you want to add? Any plugs? Any final thoughts?
No, not really. I definitely I'll take a look at the coast to coast pick 5 is been a pretty good bet on the weekends as well. It's 2 or 3 races from Santa Anita, 2 or 3 races from Gulfstream, and I'm guessing 1 or 2 of the Santa Anita ones that we talked about will be in that. But that's got 15% takeouts, $1 minimum, so the payouts have been big on those for hittable, with some hittable sequences. So yeah, nothing much other than that. Iron bets, sign up, use the promo code Conductor, get good wager rewards. That'll be coming up, especially for Keeneland. That's coming up. But yeah, it is nice that the Triple Crown races are starting to come and starting to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel of winter racing, because yeah, it's pretty bleak right now, other than the weekend.
Pretty bleak. And then it's bleak racing, and then all the news is about how the first street tracks are going to close down and all that shit. So just a real depressing time to watch racing.
Yeah, it's tough.
You need the sun to come out and get some of these Kentucky races back.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's like, yeah, we need the turf to come back. We need Keeneland, and we need New York with New York. It's always bad in the winter, but even just looking at it, it's 7 races, 5 horse fields, 2 scratches in each. It's ridiculous. It's I don't get how they have 1 cent in the pool right now. Uh, but yeah, in
Yeah,
another
it's
month
up. They're
there's
just betting between each other with
uh,
the CAWs.
that's right. That's right. But yeah, I get then I did. I looked at the Gulfstream and Santa Anita cards for Saturday. Both look pretty good. So
Yeah, I'll definitely check out the coast to coast. Will you be dropping your picks on your Twitter or something?
yeah, I'll probably post either Gulfstream or Santa Anita, yeah, on Twitter or a blog. And I'll try and do a maybe Tampa Bay or something tomorrow too, um, with Gulfstream. But we'll see.
Yeah, one thing to note, I was handicapping this week on. I use Equibase for the replays. I get like they have like some cheaper subscription options that work out pretty nice. And then it just pops up a notification out of nowhere. Let me read it. That they don't have the replays. You can't search for replays anymore from Arlington, Churchill Downs, Calder, Colonial Fairgrounds, Ellis Park, Presque Island Downs, or Turfway Park. So you can find these replays still, but you can no longer just search for them. You have to go into the charts for whichever day you want to like watch the replays from, and then click the replay from there, which takes like an extra minute
Yeah,
for it to find each replay. Just another little annoyance that makes it even harder to get the information you need.
that's crazy. It's probably a Churchill Downs thing. That's who owns those tracks. So and they're the
Yeah,
worst with
yeah,
like
that's what I thought.
they're the worst with like they don't share like unless you're Twin Spires like they don't share their data or feed with anyone pretty much.
It's just so crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like
Really.
they did everyone does everything they can to not grow the sport at all, not realize that you want more people involved in the sport and then you'll get more customers. But yeah, that's great.
Great service. We love it. Anyway, yeah, good luck on all this, and thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, let's we hit some of the stuff and talk to you next week or something.
Absolutely.